Agbare huisvoorsitter, baie dankie. 'n Belangrike deel van my toespraak oor moedertaal het ek nou vandag geskryf, nie in my moedertaal nie, en ek wil maar vir die MK vra om geduldig te wees, want ek gaan lees, anders raak my Engels op. Honourable House Chair, historically, people make widely divergent choices regarding their mother tongues. Let's put ourselves back in the past to illustrate this. It is 1902. The British Empire has defeated Boer resistance and gained full hegemony in southern Africa. Lord Alfred Milner has big plans for this region. With its gold mines and farmland, this would be the shiniest gem in the British crown. Afrikaners and Africans were culturally speaking equally excluded. Language barriers and lack of connection prevented both, except for some individuals, from ascending the imperial ladder. The invitation, however, was open. Acquire a British identity, and the sky would be the limit. Afrikaners and Africans responded in opposite ways, which were also rooted in history. For Africans, English was a language of upward mobility and was embraced by the elite. Since the unsuccessful anti-colonial wars of the 1870s, the focus of African resistance became the cosmopolitical mining centers of Kimberley and Johannesburg. Tribal resistance made way for a common black identity, demanding equal rights in the colonial order. That developed into African nationalism, with English as common language to supersede the local identities. Ethnicity remained culturally relevant, but became politically irrelevant. So, for the nation to live in English, vernacular languages were relegated to private and limited spaces. Attempts to promote the use of African languages in education were viewed with suspicion as nothing more than the age-old strategy of divide and rule. The result is clear today. An African population economically divided between the haves and the have-nots, the BEE-able and the not BEE-able. The BEE-able can navigate the economy either as real entrepreneurs or as tenderpreneurs, because they have mastered science and commerce through a medium they have not sufficiently mastered, and that was aptly described by the member of the EFF. They do not meet the requirements to be BEE-able and therefore remain poor. The African nationalist language choice turned out to facilitate upward mobility for a select few and to exclude the many. Afrikaner nationalism rejected the imperial invitation. They were not excluded from English institutions. They refused to go there. They built their own banks, universities, even other institutions of lesser importance, even at an initial cost of lower quality. However, the most desperately poor Afrikaner could enter the world of science and commerce in the mother tongue. This is something to celebrate and to share. En as ek dan daarmee kan afsluit, dan wil ek sê dat om jou eie variëteit van 'n taal toe te eien en te sê dis nie maar net 'n dialek van 'n ander taal nie, dit is my taal, dit is wat die agbare Souls net nou uiteengesit het. Toe Afrikaners Afrikaans gepraat het, het mense gesê dis swak Nederlands. Ons het gesê dis nie swak Nederlands nie, dis ons taal en ons noem hom Afrikaans. Ek dink die sprekers van Afrikaans behoort presies dieselfde te doen. Ek dankie.
Dankie Dr. Boshoff. Honorable member.